I'm Will Fuller. I'm the chair of the Southwest Neighborhood Schools Committee. Southwest Neighborhoods Inc. usually called SWNI, so it's the SWNI Schools Committee. And the project was called Sharing Our Family Stories. It came about funded by a neighborhood small grant from the Office of Neighborhood Involvement, but that wasn't the real impetus for it. The project actually started with a racist incident up near one of the schools, where back in the campaign in 2008, someone had defaced an Obama sign with racial slurs, and one resident, who was African American, was deeply offended by this. And she couldn't find any sympathy from other parents or the school for how deeply hurt she felt. And that sense of isolation in a community of well-meaning people who are liberal in their views, are not racists, was sort of got our schools committee thinking, what do our schools teach about people's cultural backgrounds? And we took a look around and found this project. An 8th grade student studies some ancestor or relative or something about history, and they do a 3-part project. It's a big project. They do a paper, a research paper, they do an oral presentation, and they do a trifold display about that ancestor, talking about their background and where these kids came from. Now this, when you see all the displays, there'll be hundreds of them in each school, side by side, you have a little United Nations of people's backgrounds right here in Southwest Portland. So what it comes down to is, how do people learn about each other and their differences in a way that makes their lives different? And when they approach someone else who's different, they're more willing to listen. Like when this woman was upset about a racist incident, a schoolmate is having trouble being bullied. They're facing all sorts of traumas you get when you're a middle school and a high school student. I'm different, I'm weird, nobody likes me. The recognition that there are other people who are different and weird and also interesting is a pretty important message. So I hope the program continues.
Did you make an effort to involve other members of the community, folks who didn't have kids in the school?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, the majority of the community members didn't have kids in school. That's one of the, there's a statistic, 83% of the adults in Multnomah County don't have kids in school. And we were really focusing on those 83% because they make up the predominant members of neighborhood associations. We were going to 2 things. People don't have kids in school, and people aren't necessarily actively involved in the community. Senior citizens are an obvious group, but this was an age range. There were young couples, single people, people who were middle age. One guy just kind of wandered in off the street, kind of thing, and as well as seniors and parents and so on and so forth. Everybody participated, including the facilitators. They got involved in the discussions, so it was a real sharing. And the SWNI staff, who was kind of nervous, so they were going to cause some kind of a problem, came away really feeling that people in the whole community had been heard.